Hi everyone, this is a short video clip just to provide you with some tips on how you can help your child with maths at home. I know for a lot of parents out there, helping with maths can be a bit of a dread. There's lots of new methods and approaches that can be quite confusing. So the aim here is just to give you a little bit of advice, hopefully take some anxiety away and give you some confidence and reassurance about how you can help your child with this subject. One of the most important things you can do is just take the opportunity to talk about maths with your child at home. Draw their attention to the maths in the everyday, all that stuff around the house. Draw their attention to the maths that you can see within it. I'm going to give you a few pointers on how you might do that. So, one thing is to have a prominent clock somewhere in the kitchen, somewhere where you eat, somewhere where you have breakfast, dinner. Just draw their attention to the analog clock and a digital clock as well, if possible, comparing and understanding both of those clocks. If that becomes an everyday habit, it's really going to help them with their telling of time and the maths involved. Drawing children's attention to a wall calendar, getting familiar with counting days, how to use a calendar, how the weeks and months sort of roll on and how that all fits into a year. So we're looking at all those aspects of time just beyond using a clock. I think it's really important to draw the children's attention to the number patterns here. So if we're going from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, going up in ones. But if you actually look going vertically downwards, you can see that the numbers are going up in 7. See if they can notice that for themselves, then start to unpick why. So the Sunday, look at the number pattern 1, 8, 15, 22, 29, 2, 9, 16, 23, 30 here on the Mondays. Just comparing those, what's the same about them, but what's different as well. Play games, card games, board games, especially if they involve dice and spinners. It's a really nice way of having fun, which is really important, but then just looking at how frequently something can happen or not happen. There's a bit of number adding and taking away, especially when you're looking at games like snakes and ladders. So they're really useful ways of just drawing out little bits of maths, but maybe pointing that out to the children that they're actually doing maths as part of those games whilst having fun. Make sure your child can access a basic calculator just to help them with how to use it. It's a mathematical instrument. They need to know how to use it just like a protractor or a ruler. But it is good for checking answers and playing around with numbers and having a bit of fun with as well. In the kitchen, you've got kitchen scales, measuring jugs. Allow your children to use these. Help you with the cooking. So get 400 milliliters of water. Check that they've done it. How do they know that it's accurate? Draw their attention to the scale on there, similar to one on a clock. Draw their attention to the scale that is on the kitchen scales. It's even in the name. And just look at the numbers. Can they estimate certain weights? So if you're cooking, can you weigh the ingredients accurately, and can you help them to do that? Because again, if this is something quite regular, they'll become really confident and pretty decent at using those bits of equipment as well to support them. Similar thing goes for using tape measures or rulers around the place if you're doing any measuring. Bit of DIY. Get your children, encourage them to measure from the 0 up to the number accurately. What happens if it's in between? Do we estimate? How accurate do we need to be? So again, just another life skill, but drawing attention to the maths. Again, in the kitchen, looking at the different ingredients and labeling on food. There's lots of numbers. What do they mean? The amount of liquid that's in a drink or the weight of something, estimating it, what do you think it might weigh, and then actually measuring on the scales like we just mentioned a minute ago might be a way of checking. So yeah, just looking at all the numbers, all the maths, the percentages, the decimals, the weight, the liquid that is involved in these. You might even look at the The food cupboard, the treat cupboard. Chocolate's a great motivator and good for rewards, but yeah, drawing out the fractions. So if I've got a kilogram bar of chocolate and I eat a quarter of it, what amount is left? How many squares are left? But what weight would you estimate is left as well? Drawing out that when we have pizza for tea, again, we're looking at fractions and cutting things as equally as possible. And so yeah, just another element of maths around the house. Measuring temperatures, that might be in the garden in the summer, thinking if it's warm enough to get the pool out, but also it might be if somebody's ill. Looking at the different types of thermometers that we've got these scales again, there's drawing attention to the going up in tens, but then we might just have a thermometer that has a number on it and doesn't have that scale, but it's great that children can compare and contrast the two. Just look around the house for shapes. A shape hunt is really good. What unusual shapes can you see around the house? Drawing attention to the tiles that are rectangular or the pots and pans that have a circle shape. Why the windows and cupboards are rectangle? What other shapes can we see around the house and why do we think those shapes have been chosen? Making your child familiar with money is really important. Counting in ones, in twos, in fives, in tens. Knowing how to spend money, how to count, make amounts with different coins. How many different coins can you make 17 pence with? What's the least number of coins you can make 17 pence with? What's the most you can do? Yeah, so all those kinds of things, really important. Getting your child confident using money. A really fantastic way of incorporating maths into everyday life is baking and cooking. So if you can get your child involved in helping you to cook, even if it's just recording the time or using the timer on the oven or using the clock to know how long or estimate how long it takes to cook some pasta. It might be weighing ingredients, it might be getting amounts of liquid. Yeah, fantastic way of drawing out maths, and again a really important life skill to boot. So really important. You might set a cooking challenge. We've done that at home here where we've got children we've shown them the different elements of how you cook an omelette and then got them to put that together. And that element of following recipes is really good for reading and understanding and literacy skills as well, following instructions or writing instructions. So drawing on wider skills and curriculum as well. So keep calm, enjoy it, make it enjoyable. Don't get anxious. Just think about some of the things that we've discussed today and really encourage your children to see that maths in the environment around them. It's not just about doing sums. This is a life skill. It's about resilience and it's about understanding all of those things that we do, and it's crucial in our everyday lives. I hope this helped and best of luck.